What if one of the most ancient world maps didn't come from Europe or the Middle East, but from ancient India? What if an ancient monkey king, leading a search party for a kidnapped queen, described lands stretching from the Andes to the Alps, from the Arctic to Antarctica? With such accuracy, it matches satellite data and ancient maps. This isn't just a myth. This is Sugriva's Atlas, an overlooked chapter in the Indian epic, the Ramayana. Researcher Nilesh Oak has spent years decoding these verses, and his conclusion is stunning. What appears to be mythology may in fact be a preserved cartographic memory of the Ice Age world. Recorded in Sanskrit, passed through oral tradition, and now backed by astronomical data and modern archaeology. Welcome to Awakened Epochs. In this episode, we journey with Sugriva's 4 search parties, east, west, north, and south, through a prehistoric landscape. We'll uncover how the Ramayana's poetic directions align with Ice Age coastlines, ancient DNA, glacial boundaries, and real-world monuments that shouldn't have been known to ancient India. Let's begin by asking, when did the Ramayana take place? Most scholars place it around 500 BCE, but Oak uses nearly 600 astronomical clues from the text to calculate a much older date, 12,209 BCE. He inputs sky alignments, solstices, lunar phases, and planetary configurations into modern astronomy software, and the result is consistent. The sky described in the Ramayana matches the sky of 14,000 years ago. For example, the Ramayana states that the winter solstice occurred in the Pushya constellation. Today it falls in Mula, because Earth's axis wobbles slowly over thousands of years. That shift is called the precession of the equinoxes, and it's measurable. Astronomical simulations confirm that Pushya aligned with the solstice precisely around 12,000 BCE. Once we accept that timeline, everything else starts to fall into place. At that time, sea levels were 400 feet lower. Sri Lanka was connected to India by land. The islands of Southeast Asia formed one massive landmass called Sundaland. Northern Europe and North America were buried under glaciers. Civilizations, if any existed, would have lived near the equator, or on coastlines that are now underwater. And yet, Sugriva's teams describe those lands in surprising detail. The Eastern expedition crosses through Southeast Asia into the Pacific. Sugriva describes Suvarna Dwipa and Rupio Dwipa, islands rich in gold and silver, terms that linguists and historians associate with Sumatra and Java. But he doesn't stop there. His team continues across the ocean and arrives at a mountain with a massive golden trident etched into its side. That geoglyph exists. It's called the Paracas Candelabra, a 600-foot trident carved into a Peruvian hillside, visible from over 12 miles at sea. No one knows who made it or how such a symbol aligns with Indian myth. Sugriva says it was placed by Indra to mark the eastern boundary of the known world. Coincidence? Or a signal from a lost global network? Along the way, he lists unusual tribes, people with long ears and lips. Anthropology supports this. Tribes in the Amazon, like the Kayapo and Surui, display body modifications, and recent genetic studies published in Nature show that certain Amazonian groups carry Australo-Melanesian DNA, suggesting an ancient migration from India or Southeast Asia through Polynesia, reaching South America long before Columbus or even the Bering Land Bridge settlers. Now, let's turn south. Sugriva warns his scouts about a land called Yamapuri, a place of darkness and death. He says, do not go there, it's cold, lifeless, inaccessible. This aligns eerily well with descriptions of Antarctica. During the last ice age, Antarctica's coastline may have been partially ice-free, as some researchers claim the 1513 Piri-Reis map depicts. Other medieval charts, like the Orontius Phineus map, show rivers and mountains in Antarctica, features that were only confirmed by satellite imagery in the 20th century. Modern glaciologists confirm that subglacial lakes and ancient riverbeds do exist beneath the Antarctic ice sheet, matching ancient claims that the continent once had flowing water. Heading west, Sugriva's scouts cross Central Asia and the Middle East. He names ranges like the Suleiman Mountains of Pakistan and the Taurus Mountains of Turkey. He speaks of a golden city that echoes Babylon, and finally reaches a mountain of sunset, Astagiri, which Oak identifies with the Alps. Sugriva describes another trident-like monument here, a golden palm with 10 heads atop the mountain, perhaps a mirror to the trident in Peru, positioned at the opposite edge of the known world. Now to the north. Sugriva describes the Himalayas, Mount Kailash, and Lake Manasarovar in poetic but accurate detail. He references a river flowing north from a mountain lake, matching the Angara River from Lake Baikal. And then comes the most astonishing part. He describes a sky glowing even without sun or moon, lights dancing across the heavens, the sun not setting, not rising. These are unmistakable references to the Aurora Borealis and the polar day and night phenomena that only occur in the Arctic Circle. And he adds a warning: do not go beyond Uttarakuru. No living creatures can survive there. That line maps precisely to the southern edge of the Ice Age glaciers, around 40-degree latitude below which humanity could live and above which only ice and death awaited. So we're left with a puzzle. How did Sugriva know? Was he exaggerating, creating poetry? Or was the Ramayana encoding knowledge from a lost age? When Rama asks, Sugriva replies, I have seen it. I traveled the earth. He refers to the world as a mandala, a sphere, long before Columbus, before Galileo, before Greek geometry, and long before satellite imaging or Google Earth. Whether Sugriva himself traveled or inherited this knowledge, one thing is clear: this wasn't guesswork, it was memory. Sugriva's atlas isn't just lore, it's a geographic record, passed down like a whisper from a civilization we've only begun to remember. This is Awakened Epochs. If this journey shifted your view of history, like this video, share it with others.